Welcome to the FNO InsureTech Podcast, a place where movers and shakers from all points within the insurance ecosystem gather and discuss all things InsureTech. Here are your hosts, Lee Boyd and Rob Beller.
Hey, podcast world. Welcome to this week's fascinating episode of FNO InsureTech. I'm here with the tired Lee Boyd. Lee, I know why you're tired. Okay.
Why am I tired, Rob?
Okay.
Why am I tired?
You're in graduate school.
Yeah.
You run the largest division of our company.
There's some stuff to do. Yeah.
You have 3 teenage children.
That is true.
You have a wife who's a spark plug.
Yeah.
And you try to take care of yourself in between.
I do. I try to run, try to be healthy. There's a lot to do.
All the things up, and I mean, like, you go to all your kids' things. You're there. You're the involved dad.
I'm the involved dad. Yeah.
So if you add all those hours up in a day, that's like 37.
It's sometimes more than exists in a day. That is true. And sometimes I get a little tired. And sometimes I drink a lot of coffee. And today I haven't had enough coffee.
Just drink a lot. Yeah.
Just drink a lot. Sometimes I have a lot of coffee, and today I haven't had as much coffee. Therefore, I am a little bit tireder today, but I will bounce back and I will be just fine.
Well, we're glad you're with us today.
Thank you.
That's very nice. Even though you're not going to be on the podcast, correct?
I am not on the podcast. It seems as though once we hit the 300 mark that I've made one and you've made one, and we're not starting out strong on our 300 number.
Soon we'll work it out.
Yeah.
Well, it's too bad you're not going to be here because we have a really super interesting episode today. We have Eran Tirer, the founder and CEO of Ledgertech. Eran is a fascinating man. He's an attorney. He's a graduate of the Israeli Military Software Engineering Academy. And he's a brilliant technologist and a brilliant businessman who's had some very noteworthy exits in his time. But he's a serial entrepreneur, like so many of the people that we see come out of Israel, and out of the Israeli military into a number of different verticals, including insurance and InsureTech. And any of you who listen to this podcast a lot know that there's many InsureTech companies that flow from Israel one way or another, no matter where they're currently located today. And today we have Ledgertech, who's one of those. Ledgertech is a platform that is low code, no code, and is really making a splash for the future, a cloud native, secure, low code, no code digital insurance solution. And Eran's going to tell us all about him, which is a fascinating story just by itself, and all about Ledgertech and the noise they're making, including winning several InsureTech startup or new product competitions. So, yeah,
I'm
sorry you won't. I'm sorry you won't be here to hear about it.
You just sold me. I am all in. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to hear this one. I'll be listening. I'll be driving. I'll listen to it. I'll critique you. I'll send you my notes afterwards. But I can't wait to hear it.
Okay, and I'll grade you. So you feel comfortable about it, okay?
I appreciate it.
Let me say this to all of our listeners: if you want to grade Lee Boyd, just send us an email and just put one letter in the email.
I'm okay with judgment.
Just put A, B, C, D, or F.
No, there's no point in even going. Just A or A minus, and then if there's another grade, that's fine. But it won't be because I'm an A.
But if you got an A minus, you wouldn't sleep. So
of course I would not sleep.
Okay.
If there's an A minus coming, if there's an A minus, you better have an asterisk with Y.
Please don't send him an A minus. Please don't do that. Anyways, without further ado, here is our interview with the founder and CEO of Ledgertech, Eran Tirer. Hey everybody, I am here today minus my writing pal, Lee Boyd, who's out sick today, but don't you worry because we have an amazing, interesting guest with us today. Eran Tirer, the founder and CEO of Ledgertech, is with us here from Zurich.
Indeed, Zurich. Good evening.
Good evening. It's good afternoon here. Thank you for staying up late to be on a podcast. We appreciate that.
Sure. 10 p.m. in Zurich is really late.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. When I was 23, I had a Swiss girlfriend. She was in Israel, actually. And I've never been to Switzerland. And I think the first time I came here was probably I was 30 or something. And I was traveling with a business partner. So I didn't know what to do in Zurich. So I called her, asked her, what'd you do in Zurich? She said, you go to bed at 9. That's not true, by the way, but that's the perception of Zurich.
So it's a very mellow, easygoing place. Is that what you're saying? It's not a nightlife place?
There is nightlife, but you need to be able to find it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing place.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, safe, organized. You can see your tax money working for you, and you don't pay a lot for it.
Uh-huh.
It's just an amazing place to be. It's beautiful, nature, big but not too big.
Isn't it? Is it correct that there's like 3 parts of Switzerland? One is like French, one is like German, and one is like Italian. Is that correct?
Yes, there are. Well, Switzerland is divided into cantons. There are 20-something of them. But the 3 major parts of Switzerland is German-speaking, which is, I think, about 65%. And then you have the canton of Ticino, which is the Italian-speaking one. And then you have the French-speaking one. So yeah, it's a confederate.
Okay. And so Zurich is in which?
In the German-speaking part, unfortunately, which is why I don't have a Swiss passport because I need to pass a German test for that.
Ah. Well, your English is pretty darn good. I'll say that. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Israel.
Uh-huh.
But I've been living outside of Israel for the past 24 years.
Okay.
But 7 of them in the UK, so.
Okay. But, they say that it doesn't matter when you get there, you're a citizen of Israel, correct?
Yeah.
And the right of return, is that what it's called?
I think the right of return is a different topic.
Okay.
But
Different concept. Okay.
Yeah, I'm an Israeli citizen and I'm a British citizen and recently Romanian citizen as well.
Well, congratulations. You get around. You get around. Okay. Well, we're here today not to talk about Switzerland, which is one of my absolute favorite places that I've ever been, but rather to talk about Ledgertech and your unique journey that you've been on through InsureTech. And you're another one of the Israeli mafia, if you will, Israeli InsureTech mafia that's out there. Before we get started, let me ask you this. What is your theory about why we see so many Israeli insured?
I think it's not limited to InsureTechs, but to startups in generally. And I think 30 years ago, I was interviewed to USA Today, and they asked me the same question.
Oh, really?
And I'll tell you what I told them because it's still valid. You join the Army or the Navy or the Air Force at the age of 18. You assume quite a big responsibility if you go through the chain of command. You command soldiers, you get responsibility for their lives, for large budgets. So when I was probably 21 or 22, I was running quite a substantial IT organization within the Israeli Navy. I was in charge of the development of the Naval Tactical Command Training Simulator, which was a multi-million dollars project with quite a large number of soldiers, engineers, reserve duties, whatever. So when you get that kind of responsibility in your early 20s, when you get slightly older and you finish your military service, there is nothing that seems to be impossible.
Right.
I think. And you see it, a lot of the high-tech entrepreneurs basically take what they learn in their military service and university and whatever, and they find a civilian implementation for that. I did it when I was doing command and control applications and geographic information systems. The guys who founded Checkpoint did it with firewalls, which was a technique was used in the army way before it came to civilian life, and you get it in various places. So I also think it's part of our culture in terms of, being argumentative, not accepting no as an answer. You can see it by the way Israeli drive.
Or if you want to call it driving.
Look, my wife says that when I get back from Israel, I drive much more aggressively than normal.
Well,
and part of my life I spend on a nice Greek island called Lesbos. That's where I started Ledgertech, and we'll talk about it later. And in Lesbos, there is a different pace to life. People. It's an island, so time is more fluent. And we live in a village called Plomari, where they make the best ouzo in the world. Unfortunately, I prefer whiskey or brandy, so I don't get to enjoy the ouzo part. But there is kind of a relatively narrow street that crosses the village. And there is always not a traffic jam, but, someone coming uphill, someone coming from downhill, and one has to back off. Or sometimes they just stand in their cars and speak for 5 minutes about important things like where can you get the best calamari or whatever. Or
important things.
Yes, exactly. And I was thinking to myself, if this was in Tel Aviv, there would be at least 10 stabbings a day. Because people... Now, when I drive there and I see, I don't know, even two old ladies standing in the middle of the street and speak, I would never honk to them. I would just wait patiently until they finish. And if they notice me, they will move. They don't do it deliberately. They just have a different perception of time. But if it happened in Tel Aviv, I would be much more aggressive because you have to.
They would be in the hospital. Yeah.
Or you, depends on their cousins.
Depends if they get their hands on you. Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a great insight, is that, and it's kind of like when you have children. I know you have children. I have children. They're grown children, but it's always your children always find ways to surprise you when they know more than you think they do, or they show a maturity that surprises you, that they're more mature or more knowledgeable than you give them credit for. And I think that's very true with, like what you're saying in Israel. They put young people into positions that here you'd have to be in your 40s, right?
Exactly.
The U.S. But there, they not only do they do it in their 20s, but they're ready.
Yeah.
They're ready, and they embrace it, and they run with it, and it works. I mean, you only need to look at the history of the country to see that. And I think that's a great insight. Yeah. And through all the episodes we've had where we've had Israeli founders on, the absolute common thread is their time that they served in the armed forces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that definitely helped me. My first startup I did when I was 17, prior to the to joining the Navy. Then I served 5 years as a naval officer, and it put things in perspective. So suddenly you learn how things are done properly, or think they're done properly, and then
right.
You start your real life. But yes,
yeah. Well,
it is important.
Let's talk for a minute. About you. I find your story to be interesting. You are what we call a serial entrepreneur.
Yes.
Like you said, you founded your first company when you were 17, but that was just the first company. Tell us a little bit about EasySource and how you got from EasySource to Ledgertech.
It's actually a pretty straightforward story. Actually, prior to EasySource, we had I was pre-Y2K, and we were happy to find that the world didn't collapse. But me and my co-founder had an idea to build a product that will automatically convert COBOL to Java. So basically, we built a machine that you put tons of COBOL code into it, and you get Java code out of it. The problem was that the Java code you got out of it was pretty terrible. It looked like a COBOL engineer took a Java programming language manual and started to write COBOL in Java. It worked. Technically, it worked, but it was terrible to maintain. And I remember we did a couple of projects with the Anglo-Irish Bank and Prudential Securities and what have you. And the response we got from customers and business partners was, look, guys, we understand that in order to create this shitty Java, you need to understand the COBOL. If you help us to understand the COBOL, we will manage with the Java. Our problem is to understand our core systems. And then we decided to build EasySource. So we started EasySource with the idea of helping large enterprise customers to better understand their core platforms. And most of our customers were either banks or insurance companies. So we worked with Standard Bank of South Africa, Royal Bank of Scotland, Tokyo Mitsubishi Bank, Halifax Bank of Scotland, and then Aviva, the insurance company, Meiji Yasuda, Hanover, ING Life, Aflac, American Family Life Insurance Company, etc.
Wow.
And Accenture, IBM Global Services, you name it. And we basically build a static code analysis product that helped them to better understand and better maintain their core legacy applications. Be there as it may, COBOL, CICS, DB2, AWS Natural, IDMS, Ads Online.
Which all those fintechs really needed.
Yeah, and through that we learned about the complexity of core banking systems and core insurance systems. And at some point we pissed IBM off and they acquired us. And that
Is that when you make them mad?
Yeah, well, that's
right.
one of the best ways to get acquired.
Absolutely. Right.
The funny thing is the guys that acquired us at IBM, we became friends. And they told us that in 2013, they had a plan how to kill EasySource.
Yeah.
And then around mid-2014, they realized they failed. And then we started having conversations about maybe doing something together. So, but it's amazing when you are in a small startup company, and you look at giants like IBM, you're a bit scared.
Sure.
It's IBM, 400,000 people, whatever. And then when you get to join them, it's fascinating because you learn how they work, and they work completely different than what you think they work.
Yes.
And then I spent a couple of years as an executive in IBM, kind of onboarding EasySource, turning it into an IBM product, increasing the sales team. It was a fascinating period, but I got bored. I'm not a corporate guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided to retire, hence the Lesbos story.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And my dream was to have a house on the sea. But in Israel, it's quite difficult, not to mention expensive.
Right.
And I'm starting another thread here because I have an associative memory. And I'll go back to about 2012. In 2012, I decided to combine business and pleasure and to fly from Haifa to Bucharest. At EasySource, we had our development organization in Romania. We still do at Ledgertech. In fact, it's pretty much the same group. We had a wholly owned subsidiary. I fly as a hobby. I'm a pilot. And I decided to combine this hobby with business. And I took a single engine aircraft that I was part of the owners and flew from Haifa to Bucharest. Now, it's about 8 hours flight in this small aircraft.
Yeah, that's a long ride.
Yeah. But,
yeah.
You enjoy it. So
okay.
I pretty much drew a line from Haifa to Bucharest and looked where I could land to refuel and to rest, because flying 8 hours in this small aircraft can be quite tiring.
Sure.
So we landed in Rhodos to refuel. And then if you put a line from Rhodos to Bucharest, you cross Mytilene Airport, which is the airport of Lesbos. And I had a childhood friend who actually lived there. So I decided to come and visit him and stay for the night. So I land in Mytilene, I rent a car, I drive to his house, and I get there in the afternoon. And the place was amazing. He was living in a house that originally was a petrol station for boats, which was converted to a house on the sea.
Okay.
And the whole area really reminded me the Galilee in Israel, or generally reminded me Israel in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
When I was kind of a teenager or a child. And I fell in love with this place, and I said to myself, at some point, I will build a house here. But in order to do that, I needed a bigger aircraft that could fly directly to Lesbos without landing in Rhodos. So one of the first things I did after selling the company to IBM is to buy some land there. And after a couple of years in IBM, I decided to retire. I had enough. I didn't see myself part of the corporate culture, especially because it's very difficult to make decisions. And the beauty of running a startup is that you have to make decisions fast.
Yes.
And when you look at flying, for example, you have to make decisions, otherwise you're dead. And my flight instructor once told me that, in certain situations, you have to make a decision and stick to it. Even if it's a bad decision, you can fix it later. But you cannot hesitate. You cannot not make a decision.
Right.
And that's one of the issues that large corporates have, because people have a tendency not necessarily making decisions because they're afraid to make mistakes. So if you don't take decisions, you don't make mistakes, at least in theory. Anyway, long story short, I moved to Lesbos, started to build my house. Got bored after a few weeks, so I started to buy land around and decided to be a real estate magnate. The issue is that, I needed an excuse to tell my kids. I couldn't just tell them that I'm sitting on the beach and eating in a different taverna every day. I had to do something. And I thought real estate would be nice. You build something. The issue with real estate, it's very slow. And in Greece, it's even slower.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So, are you familiar with the term mañana in Spanish?
Yes, I am.
So in Greek, there is avril, which is like mañana, but without the sense of urgency. So anyway, after about 2 months of being a real estate magnate, I really got bored of this. And then I had an idea. And I was debating between doing digital insurance and digital banking. Now, I couldn't figure for the life of me how to make money in digital banking. I think pretty much the only company who managed to do it is Revolut, not to mention the complex regulatory environment. So I decided to go for insurance, which I knew better because I had more insurance customers. I've been working. I was helping CIOs and CTOs for about 15 years before starting Ledgertech to basically understand and manage the core policy admin platforms.
You'd had an education in it. You were an insurance professional, really, of sorts.
Ish.
An amateur, right?
I understand how the insurance business worked from a technology perspective, but less from a business perspective, because at EasySource, our focus was mainly on the technical side. So how to manage insurance platforms properly from a technical standpoint, not necessarily from the business standpoint. So I had a certain view of the insurance industry, which was good, but not good enough. And we'll get to it later. So I pretty much went back to my previous customers and business partners. And I asked them, what's the biggest challenge that you have? And they all told me time to market, the time it takes us to create new digital insurance products or new insurance products at all is about 12 to 18 months, which is a lot. It's also costing us a lot of money. We need to put a lot of resources, cost of ownership. It's very difficult to hire new developers because, let's face it, if you could be a system engineer at Apple, you wouldn't say, I'm going to write COBOL code instead. So they had a lot of challenges, and I like challenges, especially in an area which I understand. So, as the Blues Brothers said, I was putting the band back together. I got my co-founder and CTO of EasySource to join me at Ledgertech, and our development team pretty much finished their retention period at IBM, and I finished the non-solicitation period with IBM. So I pretty much hired them back, and we started to work on the Ledgertech platform. So
let me ask you, give us a minute on Ledgertech so we understand exactly, or basically, more accurately, what you guys do.
So Ledgertech is an AI-driven, cloud-native digital policy admin system, or digital core system. If I had to say it in one sentence, that would be it.
That was very good.
We do two things. One is digital transformation, which is our main business, and embedded insurance, which is our way into the market. We started with embedded insurance because if you come to the executive management of an insurance company and you tell them, I have the most modern, advanced core policy admin system, why don't you try it? They'll throw you out the window.
Right, I was going to say, they'll show you the door. Yeah. Maybe the window, though.
Yeah. When we started Ledgertech, that was the case. Now they all face a challenge that they have to do something with their core platform, with the old legacy platform, not because they would like to, because there's a saying, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Right.
The thing is, it is broken for two reasons. First, AI is being implemented more and more in the insurance industry.
Right.
And in order to implement AI properly and gain benefits out of it, you need to have access to data. And that becomes difficult on core mainframe platforms. Now, these guys have been used to having a separate digital stack and deal with all the integration and communication problems because they couldn't ignore the internet and mobile and still want to sell insurance digitally. But they do it in a very complicated and expensive way because of the limitation of the core platform. But the two things that started to happen in the last year and a half is the onboarding of AI and the fact that a lot of the peripheral systems that used to be on-prem are shifting to cloud because that's where the vendors are heading. So you find yourself with an on-prem core policy admin system, and everything else has to be in the cloud, which of course causes different problems. So I think last November or early December, I was at the International Insurance Society conference in Ruschlikon in Switzerland at the Swiss Re facility. And there were guys like the CEO of Chubb and the group CEO of Swiss Re and a lot of very senior executives from the insurance industry. And on every panel or every work group or every keynote speech, there was always a very senior executive that said, we have to do something about our legacy core platforms. We've been avoiding it for too long, and now it's affecting our business to the extent that we cannot ignore it anymore. So from a Ledgertech perspective, that's a perfect storm. Now,
guess who's here to help?
Yeah. Now, when we started, the reason we started was the embedded insurance play, because this is a relatively easy way in. Embedded insurance is probably a very major direction that the insurance industry is heading to. It's expected to get to $700 billion by the end of the decade.
Right. I've read that. Yes.
Yeah. A lot of it will happen in Asia because the population, the way they use mobile services, insured and uninsured, etc. So this is where the world is heading. And in order to do embedded insurance, you have to respond fast. So you can't allow yourself 12 to 18 months cycle to create new digital insurance products because the lifespan of a distribution opportunity is about 2 to 3 months. Some of these products...
That's really that short?
Yes.
What happened? You mean it wears out after a few months, or the novelty, or everyone else comes into the market?
Distribution channels have limited capacity and attention for value-added services. We work with mobile operators as an example. So if they want to do something, they want to do it now. They find it difficult to think about a value-added service that will be available in 2 years. That's not how they work. This is why, and it's a business decision. Now, the decision makers in insurance companies, like the head of distribution or the head of sales or head of marketing, would really like to get the product out in the market tomorrow.
Sure.
That is holding them back.
Sure.
Because of the limitations of the platform. So what we would do is we would come in and we'll say, look, guys, you can use our platform. You can put us on top of the existing policy admin system. We'll connect you through a set of APIs. You can define the new digital embedded insurance product on the Ledgertech platform in anywhere between 3 to 6 weeks. Have it up and running. And we will use your existing core policy admin system as a system of records. So we'll store financial data there, insurance, whatever you tell us, we'll put there. But we'll manage the life cycle of the new insurance product on the Ledgertech platform, because there we can do more advanced things. Pay as you go, pay how you go, usage-based insurance.
Right.
Things that are difficult to do on a 30, 35-year-old mainframe platform. Simply because it wasn't there when the platform was designed. If you look at a 30 or 35-year-old legacy core policy admin system, it was actually designed 45 years ago at least, because you don't just start like this. You have to design, develop, test, whatever. So when you designed the system 45 years ago, you were looking at how the insurance industry was working 50 years ago. But the world has changed. That was before the internet, before mobile, before digital, before anything, really.
Before anything, yeah.
So, and this is what the industry is running on at the moment. And it's very difficult for them to progress and accelerate. And now with the adoption of AI, it became a crucial problem. So this is how we started. And we started to build embedded insurance products. And our customers saw the advantages of our platform and started to move more and more workload to the Ledgertech platform. And it became more and more interesting.
And your platform is agnostic to the product, right? I mean, it could be any different of crazy embedded ideas that are out there.
Absolutely. And we have some crazy ideas that are really, really cool. We have customers who are doing different parametric insurance for agriculture and for influenza or COVID. We have parking payment providers, which enable you to insure the belongings in the car for the duration of the parking.
Wow. So an hour-long policy period.
Yeah. Now, this is the beauty. This is a microinsurance product, and the premium could be 20 cents. Now, if you have to put a team of mainframe developers to work on it for a year, you're never going to make money.
No.
In fact, you're not even going to start because
in a week, you never make money, right? Yeah.
All right.
In a week of their work, you'd never make money. Not at 20 cents a policy.
Exactly.
But and this is why I love embedded and why I love the confluence of embedded and entrepreneurial thinking is that there's no end to embedded plays that haven't even been thought of yet, right? And
absolutely.
As the world changes, and it changes quicker and quicker and quicker, those opportunities become greater and greater and greater. So to be able to capitalize on those, like you said, I mean, the time is now, right? I have this idea for an embedded product. Can we have it in market in a week? Not can we have it in market, in
a week is pushing it, but in a month, yes.
Okay.
Pushing it just because of the decision-making cycle. There is another aspect, and that's the younger generation buy insurance totally different than you and I used to. Insurance is not a fun product. You don't wake up in the morning and tell your girlfriend, yeah, let's go shopping, let's buy insurance today. You buy insurance because you have to.
Right. Right.
And it should correspond with the way you live your digital life. So the younger generation doesn't like to speak to agents, doesn't like to speak to the company even. And they're not going to go and look for insurance specifically. They expect to find insurance where and when they need it. And I'll give you another great example, which is embedded travel insurance, which we offer together with cellular companies, mobile operators, where you can buy a travel eSIM or a roaming package, and as part of that, get annual pay-as-you-go travel insurance. So the way you operate it, you sign up for the service, and all you need to do is travel with your mobile, and you're covered. You don't need to install an app. You don't need to switch it on and off. You don't need to activate location services. We've done an integration with the billing platforms, the most common ones like Amdocs and Huawei. So the mobile operators know where you are. And based on that, based on your profile, your age, your sex, your preferences in terms of flight delay, cancellation, lost luggage, etc., we bill you. So you're insured, you have nothing to worry about anymore. While all the traditional insurance companies sell you a per-trip travel insurance product. So every time you travel, you need to worry about travel insurance. And
right. There's the box, in online every time that you have to check or not, yes or no, right?
That's if you buy your tickets online, and then what happens if you change your ticket?
Right.
You want to extend it or shorten it? You have to deal with this separately. Mm-hmm. So the idea of embedded insurance is to create products which are innovative and correspond with the way that you consume other services. So the distribution channel offers you the embedded product as a part of another product or service that you would buy from them anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And,
wow.
and you need flexibility for that.
Wow.
Which current insurance products or platforms don't have.
So there's so much going on in embedded now.
Mm-hmm.
So is your strategic idea or your tactical idea or both is to be in these places, in these carriers, in these customers that are going to need or do need the new core system as well. And as long as I'm here, let's talk about your core system.
So absolutely. Now, when you look at the embedded insurance market, I think most vendors apply the 80-20 rule. For 80% of the capabilities, you need to invest 20% of the time and cost that's required to build a full system. So if you look at embedded insurance solutions, they're limited in terms of their capabilities, the depth of the platform, etc.
They're very narrow.
Relatively narrow, yeah. Good for certain things, but not for digital transformation. Now, we had the luxury of having quite a lot of time and quite a lot of money, courtesy of IBM. So we started Ledgertech, investing our own money. We so far invested more than $20 million in it. We haven't raised any VC funding.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, deliberately. We just got our institutional money
a
few weeks ago. But we needed to take the time to build it properly, bottom up, to build a full digital policy admin system, which is AI driven and cloud native. So if you look at what's happening in the industry in general, I don't think anyone attempted to do that in the past 30 years properly, or 25 years properly. So you have guys like Guidewire and Duck Creek, which are kind of modern legacy, I would call them, because they're 20, 25 years old. So
already.
But no one has tried to properly do what we're doing, because it's not something that VCs would invest in, because they view it as a high risk. We understand the industry, we understand our customers, we understand the depth of the problem, and instead of wasting our time trying to convince investors that we are right, we just wrote our own check.
And adoption?
Adoption is great. And, we entered the digital transformation space, in fact, ahead of of our planned time, because we were planning to focus on embedded only for a few more years. But about a year and a half ago, I've met with the largest Israeli insurer, the Phoenix Insurance Group, and I gave them the embedded insurance pitch. And the CIO said, wait, if you can do half as much as you say you can, then we have bigger fish to fry. So basically his vision was to do a complete digital transformation, because they're again an old COBOL-based policy admin system, which was holding them back. And he basically I remember it was August, and basically told me, could you build the equivalent of Next Insurance on the Ledgertech platform in 3 weeks? So I told him no, because it's August and most of my Romanian employees are on holiday. People in Europe do have a tendency to take summer holiday, but I can do it probably in 4 or 4.5 weeks. So we did a pilot, and they liked it. And now it's in production, basically. And we're doing a full digital transformation there.
In a year? Or a year and a half?
In a year and 3 months. And we're doing it product line by product line. We're not...
I mean...
That's the beauty of the Ledgertech platform. You don't have to do a big bang. So we run in parallel to the existing core system, and we gradually move more and more workload into our platform. But the thing is, if you look at the depth of the Ledgertech platform in terms of managing pricing, complex pricing, managing reinsurance treaties, all the kind of the hairy stuff of the insurance world that most embedded insurance solutions don't even scratch because you need to invest a lot of time and a lot of money to do it properly.
Yeah.
This is the market we're after. And we do embedded insurance because it's a great business opportunity. We have different business models for that. And we work with not small players, guys like Vienna Insurance Group, etc. So we do both. But I think where we're going to see the majority of the growth and where the majority of the problem will be is in digital transformation. And embedded insurance is a way to get there.
Fascinating. It's actually not typical, and I'm sure there's all kinds of constraints and financial constraints that are the reason for that, but you don't typically see companies that have this kind of two-pronged approach that you're doing.
No, I agree with you. A lot of the embedded insurance players actually try to sell insurance.
Yes.
They
Right.
would build the technology and then they will they will do the distribution themselves.
Right.
Some of them successful, some of them are less. But our approach was that we're never going to be able to compete with an insurance company in selling insurance. And if you look at all the InsureTechs in the world, they don't. They do something, they do it even well, and then they get acquired. No, seriously. If you look at a very successful company like Lemonade, okay, they're doing very well. They're still losing money, but they're doing great.
Yeah.
But I'd say an average insurance, let's say, medium to large insurance broker in Israel, probably selling more insurance than Lemonade.
Probably.
Exactly.
Probably.
Exactly. So I'm a technology entrepreneur. I'm never going to teach an insurance company how to do insurance. I can enable them with better technology to do what they do best. And that brings me to the previous thread of thoughts about understanding insurance from the technology side. At some point during the journey, we had an idea to do the same, to sell insurance, because I was looking at the multipliers the technology companies were getting on NASDAQ versus the multipliers the digital insurance companies were getting. And I think technology companies, Guidewire got like a multiplier of 9 or 10, and Lemonade got 60.
Yeah.
And it didn't make sense. And I said to myself, why would I want to sell licenses when I can use my product to sell insurance and get a much better valuation? But there was a minor technical problem. I didn't understand insurance business. So we brought a senior executive from the insurance industry to be our chief insurance business officer. And suddenly we became a company that understands not only insurance technology, but also insurance business. And what we realized as part of the journey is that our customers do much better when you don't just throw a piece of technology and tell them knock yourself out, but you also help them with the business side in terms of having a fresh angle on how to build the insurance product, how to customize it from a business side, not from a technology side. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of our strong points, this combination that was built into the development process. Having these senior people on board guiding our developers basically on how insurance really operates from a business perspective
is very smart. We've seen it time and time again in our podcast and interviewing companies that, and I knew this from my own work working with carriers, and that is the minute you put in a wrinkle of complication, they're immediately going to put their defenses up. Mm-hmm. And so it's critical to be able to understand that, right? To understand that that they have this aversion to technology and to change, more so to change. And if you can have empathy and understanding and intuitiveness about it, that your chances for success are much higher. You're higher, whoever this person may be, man or woman may be, was a stroke of genius, because insurance people like to talk to insurance people.
Exactly.
Right? They don't know what the hell you're talking about when you start talking technology, right?
Yeah.
And so, great move. I'm sure it's paid dividends.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a woman, by the way.
Okay, good. Even better.
Yeah.
We somehow or another, we've used up all of our time.
Yeah, I just realized that.
But I do want to give you a minute to give us just a few closing thoughts on Ledgertech, on the business, and where you guys are going. I mean, I haven't even brought up the term that everybody wants to talk about because it's boring already, and that's AI. But you did say you're AI forward, and so give us a couple minutes about what's coming down the pipe for Ledgertech.
Sure. So we do implement AI in all the life cycle of policy administration, starting from the creation of the insurance products. We have our own configuration studio, and it counts as a co-pilot. So you can either configure the product like using an application generator, or you can speak to our AI agent / chatbot, and it will guide you through the process and do it for you. And then, of course, for the underwriting, onboarding, instead of going through pages of boring underwriting questionnaires, you can have a conversation with the AI chatbot, and it would give you recommendations, ask you some questions, based on that, offer you what you should take as coverages, what other businesses in your area are doing, of course. And some of these components are built by Ledgertech, and others we use best-of-breed technologies. We use Notch as a business partner and sister company of ours that are building amazing conversational AI solutions, also around claims. So this is really an integrated part of the managing of insurance products. And of course, it saves a lot of time, a lot of money to our customers, and provide much better services to their customers.
Mm-hmm.
Both the end customers and the agents and brokers who also benefit from that.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of having a modern, open architecture is that the integration is really easy and straightforward.
And change is easy as time goes by.
Of course, if you look at, we have proper change management capabilities within the Ledgertech platform, with different approval and authorization levels. So you can track everything that is done, every change that is done, who did it, etc. So also from regulatory and compliance perspective, it's very important. And we basically put a lot of resources to continue and developing and adding capabilities to our platform, looking in other complementing areas, etc.
Well, I think that your formula, your concept, your go-to-market concept, I really like. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, not that you're asking me, but but I do think that, and I think that, that the fact that your respect for, and this is one of the things that we've seen change in the InsureTech world in general, is the respect for having insurance professionals involved in your company, because that's who you're talking to. That's who's making the decision to write you a check is an insurance person. And so to have that communicating ability is going to go far. And like you said, the world's a big place, right? And here in the U.S., I'll speak as a U.S. citizen here, we kind of lose track of the fact we think that insurance happens in, between the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean, but it happens everywhere, right?
Exactly.
And the market is, not only is the market huge, it's getting bigger. And what's getting bigger is all these embedded plays. So it's almost like you know what you're doing.
I would hope so.
So I'll say Mazel Tov. I'm sorry that we've run out of time. This is the most interesting conversation. I've really enjoyed it. And
it was a pleasure.
And if I make it to Zurich this summer, of course, you're going to take me out to dinner. But we know we have to do it before 9:00 at night because everything closes.
I know a few restaurants that keep the kitchen open till 10. So, but if you come and visit me in Plumari, people only start going out at 10. So
okay, that's my style.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, listen, thank you very much, and we'll look forward to hearing more about Ledgertech in the future.
Looking forward. Thank you.
Bye now. What an interesting story. And once again, there's this factory of brilliant, creative, technical people that flows out of Israel and brings those technical gifts to the rest of the world. And so we're very grateful to Eran for being with us today, and very grateful for you to be with us. And we look forward to the next time when Lee Boyd can find the time to do his work, AKA not be relaxing at home, but rather being on a podcast like he's supposed to. So I'll say to you what he's supposed to be saying, but he's not here. Goodbye, everybody.